The hidden cost of EV ownership. The repair bill nobody talks about. If you've been told that electric cars are cheaper to own, cheaper to maintain, and the future of motoring, there's one part of the story that often gets left out. What happens when they need repairing? A new BBC report has highlighted something many body shops, insurers and dealers have been saying for years. Electric cars aren't just different to repair, they're often significantly more expensive. And those extra costs eventually land somewhere, usually in your insurance premium or your wallet. Quick one. This bit isn't sponsored, but it is my personal recommendation. I use the high-low band for blood pressure tracking, and it's honestly been a godsend for me. Super easy to use, and I get a much more realistic picture than a one-off reading at the doctor. If you use my link, you get 20% off, plus a 12-month subscription, and I get £25 if your referral is successful. So, thanks if you do. The link's in the description. On with the video. The first problem is repair costs. According to the BBC, the average electric vehicle can cost around 30% more to repair following an accident than an equivalent petrol or diesel car. Now think about that. A minor bump that might cost £5,000 on a nice car could easily become £6,500 or more on an EV. That's not because mechanics are charging more, it's because the cars themselves are more complicated to repair. Why are they more expensive? Because modern EVs contain high voltage battery systems, complex cooling systems, hundreds of sensors, ADAS cameras, radar units, battery protection structures. Many of these components can't simply be repaired. They often have to be replaced. Even relatively minor damage underneath a vehicle can trigger lengthy inspections to make sure the battery casing hasn't been compromised. If there's any doubt, manufacturers understandably err on the side of caution. The battery question. This is where things become really expensive. A battery pack is often the single most valuable component on the vehicle. If there's uncertainty over whether the battery has suffered internal damage, the repair bill can escalate dramatically. Sometimes the battery needs removing for inspection. Sometimes specialist testing is required. Sometimes replacement is recommended. None of this is quick and none of it's cheap. Fewer people can repair them. The BBC also points out another growing problem. There simply aren't enough technicians qualified to repair high voltage electric vehicles. That creates several knock-on effects: longer waiting lists, high labour costs, cars sitting in body shops for weeks, courtesy car costs, storage costs, lost mobility for owners. All of these costs eventually feed back into insurance premiums. Longer repair times. It's not just the cost, it's also the time. Electric vehicles often spend longer in repair because high voltage safety procedures have to be followed. Battery inspections take time. Parts availability can be limited. Specialist technicians aren't always available. Calibration of cameras and safety systems is frequently required after repairs. Every extra day off the road costs somebody money. Insurance companies don't work on opinions. You know, when I see cars in the auction and they've got a battery health certificate that says there's something wrong with the battery, and all the EV shills come on and say, oh, it just needs charging and this, that and the other, and there's nothing wrong with that, even though there's a big red exclamation mark on it and it says visit a workshop immediately. They think it's all right. That's their opinion. Insurance companies don't work on opinions. They work on statistics. If one type of vehicle costs more to repair, takes longer to repair, needs more specialist labour, produces more expensive claims, then insurance premiums will inevitably rise. That's simply how insurance works. Another issue rarely discussed is write-offs. Sometimes a vehicle that appears repairable isn't economically viable because of the cost of the battery inspection or replacement. The visible damage may look modest, but once battery safety checks, labour and specialist parts are added, the economics can change completely. That means more Category S and Category N vehicles entering the salvage market. What this means for the used buyer: if you're buying a used EV, repairability matters, insurance matters, battery diagnostics matter, Access to qualified repair centres matter. It's no longer enough to simply ask, what's the range? You also need to ask, what happens if someone drives into me? How much will it cost? How long will I be without my car? Where can it actually be repaired? Is the situation improving? To be fair, yes, repairers are becoming more experienced. The more they repair, the more experience they get. Manufacturers are gradually designing batteries that are easier to diagnose and in some cases easier to repair rather than replace. That should help reduce costs over time. But we're not there yet. This isn't about saying electric cars are bad. It's about understanding the full ownership picture. Running costs aren't just electricity versus petrol. They also include insurance, repair bills, parts availability, repair times, qualified technicians, potential battery damage. These are real costs that buyers deserve to know before they make a purchasing decision. As always, I'd rather people bought the right car for their circumstances than one based purely on marketing and EV shills, claims and propaganda. So what do you think? Have you had an expensive EV repair? Did your insurance increase? Or have you had a completely different experience? Let everyone know in the comments. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.